In Flash CS4, you can give regular movie clips 3D coordinates. That way we can not only move them up and down, but we can also move them forward and backward, as well as rotate them. In this chapter, we're going to look at some of the 3D tools in Flash. Now before we do that, it's important to understand how 3D in Flash works. Essentially, 3D in Flash is not true 3D, it's more like a piece of paper. So if you imagine a piece of paper floating in space where you can turn it around and look at the back of it, that's kind of like the 3D that we have in Flash. It's flat, but we can rotate it and skew it and so forth. That said, let's look at the 3D translation tool. If you're following along, you can open up o1_3d_translation.fla from the Chapter 9 folder. All you need for this exercise is really the movie clip that's on the stage, and that's this board right here. So to apply 3D to the board, you can use the 3D properties in the Properties panel, or you can use the 3D translation tool. I'm going to use the 3D translation tool, which is in the toolbar in the same flyout menu as the 3D rotation tool. So I'll select the 3D translation tool, and then we can move this element in 3D space. So I can move it along the y-axis, which is green, x-axis, which is red, or the z-axis, which is blue. So that moves it forward and backward. Now if you ever want to remember which color corresponds to which axis, remember RGB, XYZ. Red for X, green for Y, and blue for Z. RGB, XYZ. So using the 3D translation tool, we can move an element in 3D space.